If you're an agent, collaboration is the key of this episode. One of my agents reached out to me to do 2 deals. One deal with a very difficult out-of-town buyer and another one with McDonald's Corporation. Stay tuned. What made you bring that deal to me?
Well, first, when I had met the client, to start, I met them door knocking. Decided to go door knocking like I do every day. That's my schedule. And once we met, I figured they were a little all over the place. And they didn't really know what they wanted. So I figured from there, I can bring them back to someone with a little more experience than me to help them, help them find exactly what they were looking for.
No, but I met them, and it was beyond that. They were difficult from the beginning. So it was more than just a little bit more knowledge. You saw that. How you get a hold of him? How did you?
I got a hold of him door knocking. I was going door knocking that day for a requirement I had. I had a guy that was looking for space, so I went looking to see if I could find him a space to sell him. And in there is where I ran into this particular client. And he had told me, you know what, just I don't really have time for you today. Throw your card on the floor, and if I'm interested, I'll give you a call.
What do you mean throw your card on the floor? I don't get it.
Yeah, he had told me just throw your card on the floor, and maybe if...
But were you at the door? Why couldn't you approach him?
I was at the door. He came up and he asked me, what do you want? I said, no, I don't want anything. I'm here to see if you're interested in selling your space. I have a client that's very interested in your particular space. And he said, no, look, I don't have time for you today, man. Just throw your card on the floor.
But why didn't you hand it over to him? How far were you? I don't understand.
We were at least, COVID distance.
Oh, okay.
But he told me, he just looked me up and down. And I was dressed how I'm dressed today. And he said, yeah, I don't have time, man. Just throw your card on the floor. And I said, no, here, have it. Throw it on the floor. Just throw it. So I threw it on the floor.
And there was no barrier between you and him?
There was a little fence that you could open.
Okay.
And he said, throw it on the floor. And I said, okay. So I threw it on the floor like he asked, and I kept walking and knocking on doors, talking to other people.
Pretty impressive. Right there, either I get mad, I tell him to go pounce out, or, I don't know, maybe I get in the car and start making phone calls to try to blow off some steam.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking interesting. Wow. And then what happened?
Well, 2 weeks later, I'm here making phone calls, trying to put another deal together, and, the guy calls me.
Okay.
Hey, Roy, it's such and such, man. Who? It's such and such. Remember? We spoke about a couple of weeks ago at this industrial park. And I was like, oh, yeah. You asked me to put the card on the floor. Yeah, I remember, man. How you doing? And he was like, look, man, I need to buy a space up north here in Miami Gardens. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, matter of fact, I think I can help you. Let me look around the market and see what I can find, and I'll get back to you.
So he called you back, the guy that told you, throw it on the floor, I don't have time for you. Okay, that's interesting. So it goes to tell you, to show you that anyone can be a prospect. And in the name of business, if it absolutely doesn't necessarily need you to break character, don't worry about their attitude or their behavior. I have a similar deal like you. The whole place was flooded, and he was in the textile business. All that got destroyed. I walked in and said, hey, you should go to a place that doesn't flood. He told me, oh, get the hell out of my building. This is a terrible time for me. I was like, why? The way I look at it is, if you have a good insurance, you just sold everything. Unbelievable. I like your approach. Give me your business card. And he called me a few months after. And that deal was the deal that kept on giving. More deals, because it was a great signage, a great piece of property. And then the one that bought it gave me the listing to lease it. And once I leased it, I still had the sign up, so I made a lot of deals. I mean, this is one of the hardest deals. You got an award for this shit.
Yeah.
Like the toughest deal in a year. Like that was the toughest deal.
It's definitely the toughest deal I've done.
Yeah. No.
By far.
I mean, I've been around this block, and this was a tough deal. Now, only a tough deal because of basics, okay? Yeah. You always have to be in control of your client. You always have to, and when I mean control, not tell him what to do. In control is, you always got to be ready for whatever happens, okay? You always got to be 1 or 2 steps ahead. You're the one that does this every day. Your client is buying a building once a year, or every 5 years, or every 10 years. You're doing this every week. So you have to always be ahead of the game. They expect that. So my advice here is try to introduce him to the right attorney, introduce him to the right banker, introduce him to the people that are going to help him get it through the finish line. However, he didn't want our lawyer. He fired the lawyer. I want my lawyer from New York.
Wanted to do it all himself.
All himself. This was tough. Yeah, from the beginning I realized, hey, wait a second, these guys they want to do it their way. Don't worry about it. And he won't get on the phone. It was tough for me too. I mean, I try every angle. The only angle that works is when you can mold somebody, when they know they messed up, and you get to mold them and help them get to the finish like they did. But this was tough.
Super unique deal. And it started off in a unique way as well.
Oh, that's for sure.
With the whole throwing it on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that was the start of what was to come. Because, I mean, you know, I'm out here with you, and I keep hearing that deal and how it's coming along. And it's almost like a novela. I was like, oh, it died. The deal died today.
Camilo, 5 extensions.
It came back to life. What? What just happened? Like, it was ups and downs.
Ups and downs
it was
all
like,
the time. All the time.
You know, so I give you props, man.
Yeah.
It took a lot of perseverance, everything.
Well, you were already too vested by the time he throw it in the floor. You were already too invested in this thing to continue to the end. But it doesn't end there, bro. This guy gets, I want to cancel. So this is for everyone looking in the real estate business that thinks that finding the right property is just it. No, you have to get it to the finish line through dealing with the obstacles that will happen. That's why I love to do leases. You do a lease, you show a building, the building landlord is responsible, sign the lease, get paid. When you buy, there's 10 reasons why the deal is going to die. In this case, like 20. So the way it happens, what was it? He asked us for 5 extensions. Incredible.
Wait, so how long did the process take from, first of all, in showing the property? How many, was it difficult to show him properties? Was it like the first property, boom?
No, it
It definitely took more than 6 months.
to close that deal.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about like when you showed him properties, was he very picky in that sense?
There was only
or no?
one property for him, that one.
Yeah.
There was that
It
property.
was actually the perfect property because they needed a split bay.
No. That was the
So,
perfect property.
so you got under contract relatively quickly.
Right away.
And then for you guys to execute the contract, was that complicated? Because
No.
you're saying he didn't want to use your lawyers.
No. Everything was really smooth. What happens is he even used our lawyer, but then came to fire him. He was smart. Hey, let's get it wrapped up. Let's put it on the contract. I know it's a good deal. Let me use the lawyer they said. Let me do whatever they said. But once it was already tied up, he came in kicking the table and fire. I want my own lawyer. Then he had to fire that lawyer and get another lawyer. Then we got an extension. Money was refundable. Get another extension. Money was refundable. Get another extension. Money was refundable. When he goes for the 4th, it's done.
Yeah.
He has to release money. And he wants the property so bad. The market's changing. It's worth more. He has to jump. So he releases the money. And guess what? He asks for another extension. And guess what? They say, you know what? No extensions. You close or you lose the deposit. Or you pay your broker his fee. That's a 6-digit number. And like, what do you mean? I never seen that before. Yeah, you got to pay your broker. That was on what? What day was that, Roy?
That day was, I think it was Noche Buena, that I was cooking a lechon with the family. And
The December 22nd on a Friday at
Yo, when
5
are you
p.m.
gonna cook your ribs again, man? Those ribs were fire.
whenever.
Best ribs. I haven't tried your lechon. December 22nd, Camilo, 5 p.m. on a Friday, I think it is. He needs an extension.
And everyone's clocked out
And
since like
everybody's
December
out.
1st.
Everybody's in Christmas
Everyone's out. I was
mode.
Christmas shopping at lunch.
No. This was bad. And so this is the teaching, I guess. This is the important part of do what I do, and that you guys learn to do this. You got to take all the noise out. And there's a lot of noise. Who, these, what, being, there's noise. But if you're a real closer, you take all the noise out and you go straight for what needs to be done for the deal to happen. What needs to be done? Who's the one that needs to bend at that moment? What is the best? And then focus on that approach. And, you know, my approach took 2 days. He was observing the holidays. I couldn't get a hold of him. We're in default. We couldn't get a hold of him. And finally, when he did, I guess it was good, that thinking process. The approach was, I guess, calm enough that he said, I wouldn't do this deal without you guys getting paid. If it was for something else, maybe. I'll go to war, I do what I got to do. But if it was to pay you guys after the work you did, I don't have any problem. And the guy coughed up the money, and he paid the commission. It was incredible. So it shows you no deal is done until it's done, and no deal is dead until it's dead. So you have to keep that mindset open of we deal with obstacles. We just, sometimes you get lucky. I love the residential. I mean, for all the residential realtors, I love them. They meet 2 guys that want to buy the Porsche Towers. Those $7 million each. You made a bunch of money for the year. You're good. But when it comes down to commercial, I mean, you're dealing with smart. No, let me rephrase that. Not smart, like the Porsche Tower buyers are not smart, but the decision that they're making is very pragmatic. It's all about business, space, size, do I feed, office, parking. It's a completely different decision making. Yeah. And the bank always has the say-so. I personally praise you for making that ultimate decision. I mean, it's your client. You took kind of the abuse at the beginning, and then you say, I got to go get a partner, because it's not necessarily me. I mean, you can do this with another agent that is more knowledgeable in that market. You got somebody really knowledgeable about a market. Why reinvent the wheel? Go for that guy and join in with that guy within the firm. That's okay. But you chose, you knew that the customer wasn't an easy one, and you figured that we could do something together, and we did. I'm telling you, you got the award of the hardest deal. I helped you get it to the finish line. I don't know, Camilo, what do you think? What we should do? There's no program. There's not step by step. I love when the corporate, this is the process, this is the procedure. They have to sign a confidential. No,
it was a balance between you guys, because, you know, at times he felt like throwing in the towel, and you're like, no, we got to do this. Call him right now. And then other times you're like, you know what? Forget about it. It's never going to close. And he's like, bro, come on. You know, we're already in it.
We're here.
And it was like this tug of war. And, you know, ultimately, if it was only one of you guys, maybe you wouldn't have.
And the buyer would go missing.
He wouldn't want to talk to us. And when he will get on the phone, he says, I tell you what to do. No, it wasn't, not typical for me. I like to control and say, no, man, I'm here to help. And this is very important. That's what I say when it comes down to schedules, appointment, calling. Be careful how you present yourself. You want to be able to help. You want to be able to do that deal for them. You want to get paid, but you're going to do the best you can do. You're always going to have their back to make sure that they own or they lease the right product, because they continue that business with you.
Repeat customers. Yeah.
Don't sell yourself as the guy chasing the fee. You're going to go in a rabbit hole that you can't get out. At the end, you're like giving away commission and things like that. And that's just a no-no. So it's very important that that conversation, that communication from the beginning, there's a level of respect for what you do, okay? And you got to be humble when you don't know. I don't know, man, but I'll know. But you're the kind of guy that goes to sleep at 1 a.m. and you figure out, because you understand the basics, how the business works. All you got to do is spend time looking at data, calling brokers, driving around the market. In 3 days, you can be as knowledgeable as someone else. Yeah. So it's important that they know that this is what you do. What was the name of that deal, of that award, Camilo?
Turbulence Award. I don't know.
the deal of the year award or something like that.
It was like the best comeback deal.
Something like that. Oh no, because we don't want to talk about that, the 21K thing. We'll do that for later. We'll leave that for later. That's a pretty good story. No, you had a pretty good year last year dealing with big dogs, McDonald's. You were dealing directly with McDonald's. Like, wow. Yeah. I ask you, do me a favor, Roy. I need to find this. What do I send you? Look at the perfect combination. You look for me. I actually look for you. Client of mine, friend of mine, he will not do the deal with anyone but me. If somebody calls him to show him a perfect space, he'll call me. So he says that he saw a building. And yet, what he was looking for was complicated. It was going to take time and effort.
Complicated.
And you did it in a day. All you have to do is drive to the town I told you. And yet, that combination. Look, we did a great deal. We ended up working with McDonald's Corporation, which
was-
it wasn't also not an easy deal, but we
No, it wasn't easy at all because it was in the midst of summer. The acquisitions manager would go missing every now and then.
yeah big
as
time.
well.
We had to
And
go through the corporate process.
Yeah.
the
which
corporate
is,
process as
you
well.
know,
The
takes
lawyers.
time. You gotta have patience. And
You have to have patience. And it's all about the communication with the decision maker. She wasn't the decision maker, but she was the person that will make the
Yeah.
decision maker make the decision. And you were hating the poor lady. I was like,
I
man,
was.
let me deal with her. Let me
The
deal with
building
her.
hadn't even gone on market yet. I found that building driving around 5-6 hours that day. Decided to drink a coffee, and I looked across the street, and I realized, dude, that's not even a running business yet, and there's no sign for lease for sale. So I went, I took a picture, and on my app, it tells me what the street is. So then I looked it up on Miami-Dade search, and I realized it was owned by McDonald's. So then I reached out to McDonald's, and that's when we all got together, got on a conference call, and we made it happen.
In 1 year, I looked for you and you looked for me. And
Yeah.
2 successful transactions. We got paid well.
We did.
Yeah, so no, smart. That's how the synergy in everybody's office should be. Don't be afraid to share deals. Those 2 deals, I wouldn't have driven around at all. And you wouldn't have closed that man.
Yeah,
So
probably.
we both together, splitting it and all, we
Yeah.
made a shitload of money. So that's the mentality in an office. I hope your office, I hope anyone's office working in real estate can have that harmony, that relationship. It will help them to make the little extra 80, 100 grand a year that is not making today
Yeah.
because of that mentality of I got to be the one to make that
Definitely
deal.
better than no money, you know? So you got to be smart to think what, you got to choose your battles.
Yeah. Or you got to know if that battle is too big for you to handle it alone.
Exactly.
Sometimes I have clients that are very tough personality, and I can see how I will bring a Camilo. Camilo will, because he handles his clients, but he will do it in a different way instead of trying to bump heads. So sometimes you guys say, again, I got to do this deal with someone else because I'm not going to keep it in the long run. It's a long run. It's a marathon. Yes, we got lucky. I need a building. I just met you. You go, you put on the contract, you close. Yeah, we get lucky once in a while, but that's not the way the business works.
once in a while.
Once in a while. That's like the little gifts a year. You got a gift here and there in a year. The rest, you got to hustle your deal.
Yeah, you got a prospect.
Yeah, and you're good at that. You knock on doors, bro. You knock on doors.
No, so I think the deal, showed a lot of great habits that people can pick up on when you work in a team. It's kind of like the wolf gang mentality or the wolf pack mentality,
Yeah.
right? How they go hunting. And, you guys collaborated as a team. You put your strengths on the table, and ultimately that's what got you guys to the finish line. So
Yeah.
you have to look at your team, at your office, and look who can help you and what they can help, and
Yeah.
also what you can help others with too. I think it was a great deal. It was very entertaining. Me sitting on the sidelines and just going through the emotions.
I think it was a bad deal closing.
So
and
I
not closing.
congratulate you guys on that, on the
Yeah.
teamwork, on the collaboration, and just putting your egos aside and just
Yeah, with your clients.
making it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, collaboration. I like that. Collaboration is good. When you look at the big picture of yearly production, because at the beginning of the year, you got to start fresh. Even though that you got checks coming up,
Yeah.
you got to start your year. Brother, there's deals with collaborations. Always think, what deal can I work in a collaboration that it won't take my prime time because I can do it with this person, or I don't think I can get a hold of that. And yeah, if I could tell somebody that open line, open communication with co-agents,
Colleagues.
colleagues.
Your in-house colleagues.
Yeah, man, you have
your
to.
family, bro.
Yeah,
your work
bro.
family.
I mean, that's how we run it here, but I don't know if in the sales place, I've been in offices where everything has a lock, a key. You got a key. And back in the days when computers weren't around and Wikipedia wasn't out there and Google wasn't out there, I remember people literally will grab their briefcase with everything, empty the desk, and leave with it, wherever they went to. I guess it worked then. It was but I think collaboration. Every year you collaborate. Like right now, we just left a couple of listing presentations. We're collaborating.
Yeah.
We're trying to just do it. At the end, more business keeps coming. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Roy, for you were steadfast. You didn't let me down when you didn't. When you had to do what you had to do, you did it. I remember sending you to do a little bit of the dirty work. Send him an email. Tell him the deal is dead. If he doesn't call me, the deal is dead. And then he catch on to that. He will stop calling you. I'll have to text him. He doesn't answer me. He answers me. It happens. Slippery. But let me tell you, that client, he loves our how we operate.
Yeah.
He loves how we
I think
operate.
if he comes to buy another property, it'll be through
Yeah,
us.
for sure. Thank you, Roy. Good job. Congratulations again.
Thank you.